Welcome back, Giant Growers. It's Chris Brown, Garden of Giants YouTube channel, and it is patch update number 6, and it is July 6th. I hope all you had a happy Independence Day, ate lots of brats and burgers, spent time at the beach and with family. It was a good one, nice hot one around here, which we don't get hot all that often, but boy did it get hot in the mid 90s. But anyways, let's get to the patch tour. We're gonna show some updates. This last week or so, there's been the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we're gonna show you everything. You get the whole kit and caboodle. Let's start. I know I usually start with the 1109. Let's start with Ruby. The 1461 Rota, because that is just, this pumpkin is coming on really strong, really beautiful. I actually love this shape. It's just a nice round, taller pumpkin. But let's see, we're at 20 days old. I believe it OTT'd at about, I think it was 159, so not too bad considering the one we called. I don't know if you guys remember that one, the one with scars. That one was doing very well. It was actually 134 OTT at 17 days when we called it, and this one was quite a bit smaller. So pulling that off, let's see, you can see where it came off right there. This one quickly came back around and has been growing nice and quick ever since. So very, very happy with it. Plant's doing great. Let's head over to the 1109. All right, the 1109 Jutris giant green squash. I did have one on the main vine that I decided not to go with. I had pollinated 3 all on the same day, and this one by far was growing faster, so that one I clipped off. The one on the main vine I clipped off, and I went with this one because it was gaining about an inch or so over the rest of them. It's been a little bit, and I definitely, gonna just be honest, I don't like how this this just kind of bulges out, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess time will tell. I usually like to have them kind of going in a little more, where, let's see if you can see it. It's straight down, if not bulging out. I don't know, might just be me overthinking it. But it is a nice fruit, very beautiful, very green. Already starting, you can almost start to see that little bit of a camel hump starting. If that continues, that's always a good thing. But I like it. It's only 17 days old, so we'll get the 20-day measurements here in about 3, actually it might be 16 days old. When it's 20, we'll get those measurements and pass them along to you. But that is the 1109, very healthy plant, very big plant. It's growing, you know, a sea of green. It's stretching probably 35 feet and then maybe 20 feet out, but they're all still going. So we have, I mean, I can go even further if I need to, but very nice, very beautiful. Let's head over to the Stelts. All right, the 2069 Stelts. This pumpkin is just gorgeous. You can tell it's going to be a nice orange. It's already doing, I'm going to try to adjust this and get more sand under it. You can see this, I don't know if you can see that there, this ridge, this bump. A lot of us pumpkin growers get it. And when that happens, when it kind of front loads like that, it tends to want to just roll down. So you get so this inside doesn't grow much, and you get this big time growth here, and it kind of just wants to hide that flower blossom. I'm going to do everything I can to prevent that by really boosting up the sand level down there. and see if we can't do it. Now, this little flower knob here, this is probably gonna have to come off because I can see it becoming an issue, especially with it turned like that a little. And we don't need any more issues, not in this patch. But as we come up over the top here, you can see it's a really long pumpkin. I mean, this thing is just incredibly long. So I'm loving this shape. I usually grow more round ones, so having a real long one like this is going to be kind of neat to see how it progresses. But just a beautiful orange glow. This one should be just an incredible orange. I don't know if it, really don't know if it's showing up on the camera, but it's a beautiful orange glow and very shiny. Has a little bit smaller plant, not as big as some of the other ones, but it's a nice plant nonetheless. Still needs more to fill in, so hopefully I can get it filled in, because this is 22 days old, I believe. So maybe 20, 21, 22. So there's not much left until this plant syncs up and the vegetation growth is really gonna slow down. So hopefully I can get a little bit more juice into the vegetative mode before it goes into total and complete pumpkin growing mode. All right, let's go look at the ugly. All right, the 1552 young. Always gonna be a beautiful pumpkin. Nice round pumpkin. Here's one of mine. I was gonna get up onto a board here a few days ago, but I didn't even mess with it. Oh, just a perfect shape. About 10 days old, 11 days old, something like that. But not even gonna mess with it because I had a foaming stump, or the correct term is foaming crown, but most of you know it as a stump. But this is the crown of the pumpkin. And the crown, or as some of you know it, a stump, it started foaming. And I'll have a whole separate video on this process, what it was, what it did, and it'll probably have the outcome on it, on exactly what I do with this plant, if I keep it or if it ends up going away. But the update happens to hit right in the middle of what is happening. So I pulled the fan off today to cut more, to see if I could find a spot with no brown, and it's not looking so hot, but we'll keep cutting and see what happens. So when that video comes out, definitely look at it. I don't know how many of you guys have dealt with foamers, but I have never, in the 6 years I've been growing, dealt with a crown that foamed, and I've grown about 40 pumpkin plants. So this was a bit of a new experience for me, and I really didn't like it. So I don't like it. But anyways, it's a great learning experience, and hopefully we can find some answers. I don't know, there's not many answers to find, but I'm gonna try to do whatever I can to find it, and that includes I'm gonna send in a tissue sample for both nutrients and for disease, because I want to get to the bottom of what went wrong. And hopefully, my guess is either a disease from bugs, that's usually what happens, it could be from soil, but it could be a nutrient issue. It could be, you know, my soil was not the best soil. This is a new property for me. This is first year growing. It was a horse pasture. It is a horse pasture, and I basically just tilled it up and turned it into a garden. You know, the soil pH was at 5.6. I did lime it, I did amend it, but it may not be right where it needs to be. So I want to know that, what the tissue test shows as far as nutrients goes. I also want to do a test on disease. I want to see if there was a disease present when this foaming crown actually started, or you know, I don't know exactly when it started. I think maybe a week ago or so. But I want to know if there's disease present and see if we can't somehow move the hobby forward in the sense of knowing why a foaming crown happens, if there's a nutrients that's causing it, if there's a disease that's causing it, maybe both, or maybe it's some other factor that we have no idea about. So we'll see what we can do, see if we can make something good come out of something that is really ugly. But that is the 1552. I'm gonna leave this for now. I'm gonna leave this pumpkin on, and we'll leave this plant because the plant actually looks great. It's just the crown is all messed up. But remember this was the U-turn plant, so maybe it was doomed from the get-go. But every node, there are roots. So this plant will continue to do just fine as long as there's no issue that has gotten into that main vine and is slowly going to eat away at this plant. And that's what I'm cutting a little bit off at a time to try to get to the point where there is no brown, there is no rot. So like I said, I have another video that will highlight and show all of that. So when that comes out, definitely peek at it if you're interested in that kind of stuff. And we'll see what we can see. Maybe nothing, maybe something. Taking a turn for the worst. All right, so this is the ugly. Let's go see the bad. All right, the bad, unfortunately, is the 2405 Gunstrom. I noticed just a few days ago, if you guys can see that there, the dimpling, the white. It's hard, but that should not happen on a pumpkin. It's a sure sign that something's going on, and it's usually not a good thing. This one, I believe, started aborting or the day before Independence Day. We had some 90, 95, 96 degree heat, and maybe it was just too much for it. I don't know. You never really know. Has a decent plant behind it, but you know, you just never know. Nice, healthy. I mean, it looks good. I have no idea why this thing's aborting, but it is, and it did. It has not grown for 2 days. So I guess there's only one thing we can do. Let's chop it off the vine, huh? Wanted to do this too, just to look at. Wanted to look and see. Alright, nothing looks too crazy. There's no brown. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why this, no reason really why this should have aborted, but it did. And unfortunately, about 3 days before it aborted, I cut off the backup, which was about 15 days old, so I'm a little bummed about that. So I have a couple new ones that I pollinated here over the last couple days. I think I got one over there and one over there, so hopefully one of those will take and we'll just have a later pumpkin. But it's all right, stuff like that happens. It's way of the pumpkin world. The giant growers deal with it all the time. I have personally never had a 130-pound pumpkin abort, but my biggest one to abort probably was about beach ball or maybe basketball size, probably about 40 pounds. So it always hurts when it's a little bigger, but I'm sure it hurts if it's, I've heard of 1,000-pounders aborting, so I hope I never run into that. But anyways, let's Let's see, we've done the ugly and the bad. Since I'm a real positive guy, let's end on a positive note and go with the good. All right, the good, the 2365 Wolf. This pumpkin is just doing amazing. Very nice, very large plant. Probably stretches 35 feet, probably out 20 feet. There's still a lot of room left to grow. I think I had this spot for 40 feet long, but I don't know. I think I'm about 22, maybe 23 days old. So I don't have a lot of growing left, as I believe this is starting to sink. But very good numbers on this one. Day 20 was 180 inches OTT. Very beautiful. You look at that shape. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous shape going up over the top. It's very nice looking there. Look at that orange. This might be a really orange 2365. That would be beautiful if it is. But couldn't be happier with this. Just a very beautiful pumpkin. So figured I'd end at least the pumpkin patch on a good note. Let's really quickly go see some other veggies and then we'll call it good for today. All right, the bushel gourds, 345 Gunstrom. Got a flower. I should have picked that. I usually pick my flowers for the first 5 to 6 feet. As you can see, it's starting to run. I got it in somewhat of a Christmas tree pattern, but I'm gonna have it run to the fence. That one and the 470 Conley. They're both about 6, maybe 7 feet long, which is good. It's where I want them. I don't want any fruit yet, so this has to go. But just for those of you that have never done bushel gourds before, this is a female fruit. They open at night, so in the evening they'll pop open, and then you just pollinate the lobes just like you would a pumpkin. And then you get a bushel gourd. I usually like to set mine out about 10 feet, if not a little bit further, just like a pumpkin. But it's a very aggressive plant. And trust me, you're gonna have more females. You'll literally have new female gourds every single day. These plants are so aggressive that you'll do everything in your power to keep them under control. I'll try to do just some gourd specific videos, but just a real quick look. The bushel gourds are doing good. As far as the tomatoes go, here's Tomato Alley. Got a lot of big tomatoes. They're all doing really nice. I'm not gonna get into going through each one, but let's just say I got some potentials on them. Let's see. I did want to show you something real quick. I don't know if you guys remember from my tomato video, the pollinating of the Mega Bloom. I believe, I have to get in there and take a better look, but I believe I only got about 3/4 of it to pollinate. So that is unfortunate if that is the case. We had a couple really warm days in there, but we'll take a look at it as it swells up a little more. I could be wrong. But we'll dive into tomatoes a little more, because now that I have some on the fruit, or some fruit on the plants, there's a bumblebee doing its job, so I don't have to, I guess. But now that we have some fruit on the plants, I'm gonna show you guys how to do some really good trimming to get those tomatoes to really get large. But like I said, that's for a more specific video. Field pumpkins are just starting to run the 268s. Those are the monsters, the world record. And butternut squash, the 103, the 256 marrow. I got to do some tilling in here, and I'm going to probably put some weed fabric down so don't mind the weeds. And then sunflower alley over here, they're all getting big. They're probably, heck, the biggest one's probably pushing 3 feet now, which is awesome. I am running into a bit of a problem. Here's the other bad thing. So this one was perfectly healthy and about that tall a few days ago. I think there's something in there eating it. In fact, this may confirm. So I had a small one here that disappeared. I thought maybe just a rabbit came and ate it or something. But that looks like that might be some backfill. I think there's something under there eating it and pulling it down in there. So I better figure out what the heck's going on there before it moves to the next one and the next one and right on down the line. I think whatever that critter is, maybe thinks it just ran into a buffet here, and I'm telling you right now, the buffet is closed. So we'll figure that out. Real quick, a little giant cantaloupe. I got another one way down there. And that is it. I think the other patch, I still need to get that trellis together, so I'm not going to show you that on this one. I'll show you next week, I promise. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll have a lot more videos this summer. Until next time, growing big.